Yo, let's talk Côte d'Ivoire, the land of cocoa beans and good vibes. You find this gem nestled right in West Africa, got the Atlantic Ocean as its wingman on the south. Think of it like this: if Africa was a mansion, Côte d'Ivoire would be the pool house. Everyone wants to be there. It's got borders with Liberia, Guinea, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Ghana. That's a lot of neighbors, right? Good thing Ivorians are known for their hospitality. They're basically the cool kids on the block. Everyone wants an invite to their parties. And speaking of parties, Côte d'Ivoire is lit. Rich culture, diverse people, and landscapes that could make a postcard cry. Beaches, check. Rainforests, check. Savannas, double check. This place is like the Beyoncé of West Africa. It's got it all. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's rewind to the good old days, back when kings ruled the land and cell phones were just a figment of a time traveler's imagination. Hold on to your hats, folks. We're going back in time. Learned from. Okay, so picture this. It's the 19th century. Europe's feeling its oats, and suddenly everyone wants a piece of Africa. It was like a giant game of Risk, only with real countries and a lot less plastic. The French, being the fashionably late folks they are, arrive at Côte d'Ivoire's shores. Now, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, this whole colonialism thing, not cool. The French came in, saw all the good stuff like cocoa, coffee, and bananas, and were like, yeah, we'll take all of this, thanks. They even renamed the place Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, because apparently originality wasn't their strong suit. But hey, let's give credit where credit's due. The French did build some schools and hospitals, even though it was probably just to keep their workers healthy enough to, keep working. They also introduced baguettes and croissants, which I'll admit is a major win in my book. But all jokes aside, colonialism left a deep scar on Côte d'Ivoire, just like it did across the continent. It disrupted traditional ways of life, created economic inequalities, and sowed the seeds for future conflicts. It's a period that continues to shape the country today, and it's important to understand its legacy. Section 4. Freedom Time. Côte d'Ivoire gets its groove back. Fast forward to the 1960s, the era of bell-bottoms, disco, and oh yeah, independence movements sweeping across Africa. Côte d'Ivoire, tired of being under France's thumb, decided it was time to reclaim its groove. Enter Félix Houphouët-Boigny, the OG Ivorian statesman and the country's first president. This guy was like the Nelson Mandela of Côte d'Ivoire, except maybe with a little less prison time and a little more fondness for fancy suits. Houphouët-Boigny was all about peace, unity, and making Côte d'Ivoire the envy of Africa. And for a while it seemed like he was on a roll. The economy was booming, infrastructure was improving, and people were actually optimistic about the future. It was like the Ivorian dream was finally within reach. But like any good party, the good times couldn't last forever. As Houphouët-Boigny's reign stretched on, cracks began to appear. The economy started to sputter, corruption reared its ugly head, and ethnic tensions which had always simmered beneath the surface began to boil over. Section 5. Growing pains from hope to oops. Here's the thing about building a new nation, it's hard work. It's like trying to bake a cake while riding a roller coaster. Things can get messy pretty quickly. And unfortunately, for Côte d'Ivoire, things got very messy indeed. After Houphouët-Boigny passed away in 1993, the country plunged into a period of political instability and conflict. Coups, rebellions, and civil wars became the order of the day, as various factions vied for power and control over the country's resources. The situation was further complicated by ethnic and religious divisions, which were exploited by opportunistic politicians to sow discord and rally support. It was a classic case of divide and conquer, and it had devastating consequences for the country. The international community, for its part, didn't exactly cover itself in glory. While there were efforts to mediate and provide humanitarian assistance, the response was often slow, inadequate, and driven more by self-interest than genuine concern for the Ivorian people. Section 6. Côte d'Ivoire today, work in progress. So where does Côte d'Ivoire stand today? Well, the good news is that the country has made significant strides towards peace and stability since the dark days of the early 2000s. The economy is recovering, democratic institutions are slowly being rebuilt, and Ivorians are once again daring to dream of a brighter future. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Challenges remain. Corruption is still a major problem, ethnic tensions continue to simmer beneath the surface, and the scars of past conflicts run deep. Building a truly just and equitable society will require sustained effort, both from Ivorians themselves and from the international community. Côte d'Ivoire has the potential to be a powerhouse in West Africa, and indeed on the continent as a whole. It's a country with abundant natural resources, a young and dynamic population, and a strategic location at the heart of a rapidly growing region. Section 7, The Last Laugh, Optimism, African Style. Look, anyone who spent 5 minutes on this planet knows Africa's got a knack for resilience. It's like that friend who trips, falls face first into a cake, and somehow emerges with a smile, a sugar rush, and a story to tell. Côte d'Ivoire is no different. They've been through the ringer, dealt with stuff that would make most countries throw in the towel and start a new life as a banana republic, no pun intended. But Ivorians, they just keep going. They're rebuilding, reconciling, and reminding the world that they're not defined by their past. They're a nation of survivors, of artists, of entrepreneurs, and most importantly of optimists. So yeah, Côte d'Ivoire's got its issues, just like any other country on this crazy planet. But you know what? I'm putting my money on them. They've got the spirit, the resilience, and the cocoa beans to make it happen. And trust me, when Côte d'Ivoire finally catches its stride, the whole world will be watching.